What's going on that like
Well, I think
Mr.
you said
Horrible
something.
Orange Racist has presided over a period of transformation in the black community, um, the black community among black Americans.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I'm glad you said that. We are diverse, even
Yeah,
as Black people,
I
right?
hate
So
these terms.
thank you
These
for.
giant monolithic communities. That's not a thing. That's
You
not
have
what
said
community
so
is.
much that is really good, and we can park on any of them and double click. But let me just see. Donald Trump, deeply flawed. Well, I'm deeply flawed as well,
Well,
right?
let's set that one aside. I want
Okay,
to focus on what's
right.
happening
With
among
the Black community,
black
okay,
politics.
and black and
You are
black,
this has been a lot of this conversation. So what's happened?
yeah. Exactly what we've been talking about. And yes, I saw it in 2020 when I started going, although in 2020, I was in a primary, in a Republican primary. So generally the theme is when you're running, a political consultant would tell you, don't go into Democrat communities yet, just focus on white Republicans, go into all of these places. But I knew I was going to win. I felt strongly I was going to win. And so I was priming the pump for when I left the primary and went into the general. And plus, I wanted Black people to know what it felt like to be wooed. This is what it feels like when a politician comes into your community and they believe what you have is of value to them and they want it. This is what it feels like, right? And so I was intentionally going into predominantly Black communities. And what I saw in 2020 in these Black communities, that essentially Black women would not show up. Black women didn't want to have anything to do with me. And if I did walk into a room with them, they were primarily mean mugging me if they found out I was a Republican and running for office.
Okay.
But Black men, their ears were perked. They
Yeah.
were listening.
And the
And they
data
were
supports that.
listening with their heart. And they were sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I would come in with the stats. I would come in with large graphs and I just sit it there. Every list that measures anything positive, Black men are at the bottom of that list. Aren't you tired? Don't you want something better? Right? And then I would ask them questions. In 2020, we were having the conversations about only Black people don't have ID. Right. So as a result, we should just do. I mean, like they didn't say white people didn't have IDs. They didn't say Hispanics or Asians didn't have IDs. They exclusively limited it to Black people. And I would say, open up your wallets. I'm not going to ask you for any of your money. I just want you to, if you have an ID, pull it out. And then I would talk to them about what the messaging is all around the world, that only Black people are so dumb and so lazy, that only we don't know how to go get an ID. Everybody else knows. So let's lower the bar so that we can help these poor people, right? And I said, but look at you. Now, there was one person who had an ID, but it was expired. And I was like, now go fix that. But you have an ID. So you know where it's located, right? This is the bar of low expectation that they only preserve for Black people. And what I saw in 2020 is what I told Vivek when he was running last year and we were on the campaign trail, is that, and I was the one who set up his meeting to go into the south side of Chicago, standing room only, predominantly Black men. And I was explaining to him and to the team, Black men specifically are ready. They're open. But the Republican Party has to do a much better job in going into those communities, because I believe they're open. Now, are they going to go in and pull the lever? That's something to be decided. But they're open to the message like I have never seen Black people open to a message outside of the Democrat Party. But we have to be willing to go in and have that hard conversation. It's not scripted. Allow people to talk and ask questions and say it in the way that they want to say it. And then you respond to that in the most authentic self that you can bring to the table in that environment. And it was standing room only.
So,
and let me just say,
go for it.
Donald Trump, not the Republican Party. The Republican Party sucks at going into, the Republican Party talks every year about going into the Black community. The Republican Party has no intentions of going into the Black community. It has been Donald Trump who has been very specific about when he was in office in 2016. He was very specific in talking to the Black community, and he wasn't bringing Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Megan Thee Stallion to talk to the Black people. He brought in Black businessmen, and he came up with a plan, and he came up with opportunity zones that, when implemented, they were actually improving the lives of Black people. He was deregulating, which is really huge. One of the 3 top industries for Black businesses is in the hair and nail salon, and the number of regulations that the Democrat Party has put on people who just want to sit in their home and braid hair, Donald Trump came in and reversed all of that. So these were very real, very tangible. This is how you show up when you think the people you're talking to have value. And that is what Black people, Black men specifically, are responding to. Not the gold sneakers, the gold shoes. That's what Republicans focus on.
I mean,
But he's talking about real ideas.
Donald Trump did get featured in a lot of the rap songs that you don't like particularly much.
Before they hated him.
Yeah, right.
Before he was a cool, every Black rapper aspired to be Donald Trump. Donald Trump rich, Donald Trump like, right? It was only when, and this is the, this is the power of the media, of how they can take something and they can mar it and sully it and, and cast doubt on it. And it also puts a spotlight on the fact that Republicans don't have a counterpoint to what Democrats are doing. And so they allow Democrats to set the narrative and to run with it. And that has not served us well.
To come to Trump. So my relationship with Trump heading into 2016 was kind of funny as a Philadelphian and as somebody who spent a lot of time in South Jersey. I actually was technically an employee. So I waited tables at Trump Marina in Atlantic City for several summers. So I everything about him in 2016 was weird. It was like, wait a second. This was a guy that was partying with the Clintons, that was a New York billionaire, that the media loved, Whoopi Goldberg loved until 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And so my worry was like, this is like a fake conservative grifter guy who's going to come in and talk, and because he's gotten old and grumpy, is running as a Republican. But it is going to be like a mushy, moderate, left of center cosmopolitan guy. That obviously turned out to not be true.
Right.
But that was one piece of the puzzle. The other piece of the puzzle, if you're a Christian, if you care about moral character, if you care about the moral character of our leaders, this is a guy with multiple divorces,
right.
who say what you will about the Stormy Daniels thing, but it's not good to be messing around with porn stars. Whatever happened there, it's still gross. It's still not good. He knew Jeffrey Epstein and had multiple interactions with him. I know he disavows it, but I'm piling on here for a reason. Because I think for people, and I would put myself in this category, who are seeing these things not just Democrat, Republican, and the system versus the people outside of it, but who are looking at Trump, and people like you who've come into really big supporters of him, there's like a dissonance.
Right.
So help me with, why would you see that character with all his flaws as someone who is like a pro-life Christian?
Yeah.
He was pro-life, pro-choice until 5 minutes ago, even given his incredible actual actions on the court side. Like, he's the most functionally pro-life president in modern American history because of the court. But in terms of prior to that was really the biggest surprise of all. I know I'm monologuing, so bear with me. But again, like, one of the things I care about with this show is not to get into gosh, we're just all bombarded by partisan crap. It's so So help me understand this. Like, honestly, why him? Why is he a galvanizing force with all his flaws and warts and word salad rambling and why?
Yeah. Okay. It was a lot, but I loved it, and it's valid. For a moment, Donald Trump did me no favors in my 2022 race.
Yeah, according to Times, you were the Trumpiest candidate who wasn't endorsed.
And I didn't even mind not getting the endorsement.
You needed to have a TV show.
I think the
best TV show people.
I think, I used to say the best thing Donald Trump could have done for me was endorse me in that 2022 race. The second best thing he could have done for me was endorse Dr. Oz. Because everyone had a knee-jerk reaction against Dr. Oz, and it forced our people to really get out here, do the research, and find the right conservative to get behind. So that was the best thing he could have done for me. But so I didn't mind him not giving me the endorsement. But those last 5 days, he did me absolutely no favors, right? He put the green light on others to start lying on me and, and trying to destroy my character. They did not. But they did enough to muddy the waters to where something I had earned the right to be in that position. It was stolen from me because people just didn't want me. And
What do you mean by that? It was stolen from you?
I could have won had it not been, I believe I would have won had it not been for, they were telling our voters, these were more MAGA sounding people telling our voters in 2022 that she could be a member of Black Lives Matter. I am Black, so I could be.
So this was like the other campaigns doing style stuff.
And other MAGA influencers were given the green light to come out and to just sully the water around me. We don't need to prove anything. We're in the last 5 days, just throw whatever you can at the wall and whatever, just dull the enthusiasm for her.
Sounds like politics, but
it was politics, but it was very dirty, and I had earned the right to be there. I only had $1.6 million, so I didn't have the money to go back at these people.
Yeah, right.
They have very loud voices and platform. So I say all of that to say Donald Trump did me no favors in 2020. I have no reason to be loyal to anyone but to myself, my family, and my God, and this wonderful country that allowed me to build a life for myself. So I put that as, I am not in a cult. I do not believe he can do no wrong.
There's some who cross into the zone of
and I met some of them, and it is very odd.
So you want Caesar, huh? You want Caesar? Is this what you
very
want?
Very odd. But I say all of that I want to lay that. I want to get on the record saying that first and foremost. Now, if I was looking for, and I know you probably have heard this retort, for a pastor, then Donald Trump would not fit the bill. When I was the national grassroots director for the Vivek Ramaswamy campaign, Vivek is a Hindu. He is not a Christian. And yet I would take him into predominantly Christian circles. One in Iowa that comes to mind. I had 50 uber conservative pastors in this room. I put Vivek in the room and I said, y'all have at him, right? And the goal was that if we were looking to promote a pastor, if we were looking for someone to go throughout America and teach Christian biblical principles, Vivek would not be your person.
And certainly not Trump.
And certainly not Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
But when you understand what the role of the presidency is and the power that that person has, even in recent memory of just comparing what it has meant to have Biden in that seat versus just 4 years earlier, what it meant to have Donald Trump in that seat. We don't have to imagine what a Trump presidency will be like because we've already lived through that.
If you like this clip, you should check out the full video and all the other great content we've got at Dad Saves America. So be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you won't miss our new stuff as it drops each week.